Hi guys. In the previous lesson we did future value annuities. You remember we saved for the future. Now we're going to do just reverse. We're going to do present value annuities. So let's just see. After this unit or after this lesson you should be able to understand the difference between present value and future value. We're going to deduct a formula again so that you can see where it's coming from. But as I said there, not examinable. It's not examinable to do the whole change from sequences to the formula. You just need to be able to use it. And normally we use this for loans because we want at the present some money so that we can buy ourselves a big present, a car or whatever. And that's why we call it the present value formula and present value annuities. That is when we take out a loan. So there's the definition. Present value is something that happens now, in the present, at present, and you can just think of it. I always draw a little box with a little bow on top. I want to buy myself a present, whatever it is, a house, a car, whatever. So I need a loan. So I'm going to get the money from the bank and I'm going to pay them back monthly, normally monthly. Good. So there at the bottom, very important that you know P is now at the present, and that is for the end value. In the future at the end. This is the only two formula you do in grade 12. So really, if you understood the one that we did last lesson, you will understand this one as well. And they actually just kind of reverse from one another. You'll see just now when we get to the formula, there's your timeline. The interest is always a I. And remember, I is normally the normal nominal interest rate which the bank charges. They may cut it into pieces, but they will do that when we get there. The N is the intervals, but it must be the same, that it must always be for the same period. And your loan money, whatever you borrow from the bank, say R1,000,000, and the interest added to that is the same as all your payments that you make plus the interest that is incorporated in that. Now there's a way that we could have got to the formula. They've written down, as we did with sequences, we've written down the different terms with pluses in between, and we got to this formula, the same as for the future one. But now, when we do the changing to our P formula, you use that one there on the top. And you can, if you go from the one slide to another one, you'll see why we do that. You can go and work through this all on your own. It's just interesting to see. This is the formula, where it's coming from. And very important to see there's a minus on the top there. The two brackets just shift around. For the future, you have the bracket, in the round bracket inside the square bracket in the beginning of the bracket. Now you have it at the end of the bracket and there's a minus one because actually the F formula and the P formula are just reverses of one another. Sometimes they ask the X. Now you remember from the previous slides, the X stands for the monthly amount that we pay. So many times, actually most of the times, they want to find out what the X is. Now if you look at your formula, the green one that I underlined, to get the X all alone, you need to get rid of the I first, so you multiply the right-hand side and the left-hand side with I, so you get IP. Then you need to get rid of that whole square bracket, which is being times, so you must divide it. So this formula here and that formula there are the two that you're going to use a lot. Good. And after you've used it once or twice, you will get to know it very easily. Good. Let's do an example. It's always better with an example. Zinzi takes out a loan of 1.2 million. Now, the minute they say loan, it means she wants the money now to buy herself some present. So I have the P. This is the money I want now. Unfortunately, I'll have to pay it back, especially house loans. All of you somewhere in life is going to have a house loan. And if you know how to work it out, it makes it much easier to go to different banks and compare which bank is offering you the best. Over 25 years, which is your N, at an interest rate of 10%, there's your I, compounded monthly. Now, normally these ones are compounded monthly because we are paying the money back monthly. So there's your 1, 2, 3 things. So what do they want from you? Calculate a monthly payment starting 1 month after the loan was granted. Calculate the monthly payments. Because if you know your formula now, let's just write it down first. Remember what I said? The difference between this formula and the F formula is very, very much the same. The only difference is the 1 in the bracket is swapped around. The F formula says bracket minus 1 in the square bracket. This one says 1 minus bracket, and very, very important, maybe I must make it darker, is the minus on top there. Mostly that is what is going wrong in this formula. Pupils forget to put the minus next to the N, because remember it's a reverse formula from the F1, and that is why there's a minus N on top. So all I need to do now is to, before I start, write my I and my N, because remember I cannot start before I have written down the I and the N and make sure they are for the same period. So it's 10%, that means 0,1. It's compounded monthly. So I need to cut that 10% up into 12 pieces. Cut up means divide by 12. The years is 25, but I need to multiply it by 12, which gives you 300. It's just easier to use that than to every time say 25 times 12. Why am I doing all of this? I need to change all of this to months. Please remember, with all finance, grade 11, 12, 10, doesn't matter which one, if your I and your N is not for the same time period, you will not get the right answer. Good. Always write down the formula first. You get a mark for your formula, and then only you start substituting. So let's start substituting. It's 1.2 million. Make sure of all the zeros, especially if you slot it into your calculator. 1 minus 1 plus the I is now 0.1 over 12. I'm just going to leave it in the fraction format. Minus 300. Close the bracket. Over 0.1 over 12. Be very careful. A few times I forget the I at the bottom because it looks so nice, the big formula, that you tend to forget the I at the bottom. Make sure that you have the full formula substituted. Good, now I want the X all alone. So remember what we said. I'm first going to get rid of this fraction here. Fraction is being divided, so I need to times with it. So it's going to be 1.2 million times 0.1 over 12. Now I'm going to leave the X on the right-hand side. And then I want to get rid of that whole square bracket next to the X, which is being times. How do you get rid of times stuff? You divide. So now you take this whole thing and you divide by that whole big fat bracket. Now actually, this square bracket at the bottom you could leave. Because remember previously I said a divide line in a fraction means divide, but it also means belonging together. It's like a bracket. So you can actually leave out the square brackets around now because there's nothing in front or at the back of it. But if you feel safer, just leave it there. So now all you're going to do, you're going to slot this into your calculator. Just as you see it in front of you, you're going to click the fraction button. On top, you're going to make 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Make very sure that you've got the right amount of zeros. Bracket, fraction, 0.1 over 12. Go to the right-hand side, close your bracket. Oh, I made a mistake. You see, now I see it clearly because I'm checking my sum and I'm checking my calculator just because I'm in a hurry. So I'm just going to do it properly. Bracket, 1 minus, oh, sorry people, I'm really making a mistake. Check your formula. What is next to the 1.2 million? Times. So I had it right. Bracket, let me just check if the zeros are still there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 zeros, that's fine. Then you put the bracket and you put a fraction, 0.1 over 12. You see, these formulas, especially if you're not used to it, are quite complicated. So you need to really, after you slotted it in, luckily your display is big on your calculator. You check that your display and the stuff that you've written on your page are looking exactly the same. Now you need to go to the bottom of your fraction. So you go down with the cursor. And now I'm not going to even use that square bracket. I'm just going to say 1 minus bracket. Inside the bracket is 1 plus a fraction. So you press the fraction button, 0.1 over 12. Remember, you use your cursor to go up and down. Again, your cursor to go to the right-hand side to put your big bracket where you need to slot in minus 300. And remember, when you do that minus 300, It's not just a minus 300, it's to the power of minus 300. So you press that button, X with a little block on top. And now be very careful. You don't press the normal minus sign. In your display on the top, there's a minus sign in a bracket right on the left-hand side. That is the minus that you use inside a problem for a value, not for physically subtracting. So you press that minus there, 300, and you press the equal sign. And that gives you rand, because we're working with rand and cent. And I'm rounding off 41 cents. Now, just look if this is possible. It's basically 10,900 rand that you put in the bank every month. You pay back every month for 25 years to get to the 1.2 million. I don't know if it seems logical to you, but it is a logical amount if it's over 25 years. If this was also something like 1 million or 100,000, then you would know you made a mistake somewhere. You can't put 100,000 in the bank over 25 years and only land up to have 1.2 million. So it's always in the vicinity of the 10,000s if you get a problem like this. So there it is. And that is the last new formula that you do. We do a little bit of variations on both of them, but these are the two formula that you need to know off by heart. So make very sure that you know the two, and make very sure that you do not forget the little minus on top there. And then I'm going to take off this so that you can redo it all on your own. And there will be an answer. If you go to the next slide, the answer is there, neatly written out, substituted, and the answer at the end. Really easy. You must just use your calculator in the correct manner, and that needs practice. So get your calculator that you're going to use in the test or exam. Don't borrow somebody's. Practice on your own calculator because they vary. And then you will be able to do this. There's an exercise page or two that you can just pause and do the problems and make sure you get to the answers. And then you should be fine with your two only formulae that you do in matric finance. Good luck.